Welcome to class, friends. How you doing? Yeah, it's the Readers Republic show today. It's our weekly Friday conversation where we get to discuss things pertaining to intentional reading, execution, growth, and personal development as that's to do with impact as well. Welcome on board, friends. How are you doing? I see you've been waiting. I'm a bit late today. Welcome to class. Tell me your name and where you are joining from. Where are you joining from tonight? Jemima, how are you? Welcome to class. Are you ready? Ready. Yes, thank you for seeing me. And I'm not seeing you. All right, welcome everyone. Okay, we've been doing this for the past 2 years. This is we're into the third year already, right? 2 years plus. So the show will be 3 years in January. We're planning to pivot in a way that it will truly align with all that we are delivering at this level. I trust God that you've been blessed so far, and I encourage you to invite your friends, tell them about the show. Our weekend conversations will come around to discuss a lot. I see Martin Kiyo. Martin, how you doing? Martin, welcome to class. Evelyn, how you doing? Welcome to class. So, guys, you're going to take a screenshot of my beautiful, lovely face, and then you take it to the Telegram community. Go share, and also share on your WhatsApp status, share on the different platforms. Tell them that we're live. We're discussing boldness at heart today. Bold at heart. Many people saw this topic and they were like, "Oh my God, I want to be in this class. Becoming your courageous self." I like you to type it in the comment. How many of you want to be bold at heart? How many of you want to become your courageous self? I like you to type it in the comment if you're interested in taking your transformation to the next level in terms of how you live your life and everything that has to do with it. When we talk about your heart, I have started teaching, guys. When we talk about your heart, we're talking about your spirit, we're talking about the part of you that is so much in control of your person. Okay, we can also refer to that as your subconscious mind. How many of you know this part of the Bible that says that we should guide our heart with all diligence because out of it are the issues of life? How many of you know where that is in the Bible? If you know, please type it in the comments. All right, guard your heart with all diligence because out of it are the issues of life. You see that? Out of it are the issues of life. So everything that happens in life, the reason you are in this class today is as a result of your heart posture. Okay, there is such a thing as a heart posture. I like to type it in the comments. Heart posture. There is such a thing as a heart posture for every experiences, for every situation, for every new level, for every conditioning. There is a heart posture, and that's why if you really want to grow, migrate from where you are to another dimension, there has to be a certain posture of heart you must carry for you to be able to handle that situation. Otherwise, you will not be fit. All right, you will not be fit to step into that dimension of growth. In a lot of times we're quick to look for recognition, we look for accolades, we look for appellations, we look for validations, attractions, whatever it is you're looking out for. We are quick to seek out for those things. Yes, that's it. Heart posture. Thank you. All right, we are quick to seek out for those things. We are quick to be on the lookout for those opportunities. Okay, we are quick to look at for those opportunities in our lives. All right, but then are we really prepared? Because if you are not prepared, you will faint. All right, you will faint at heart. You will faint at heart, and you will not be able to carry out that situation. Let's even say, for example, marriage relationship. You know, there's this saying that um, marriage is a beautiful experience, right? But then you have to be matured to be married. Marriage is for matured mind. Why do they say that? Because it requires a lot of heart commitment. Yes, before you know it, your heart is left, right, center. You are up, you're down. You don't even know where to position from. That is the heart that we have, that we carry. So if your heart is not ready for that situation, even in business, I've had situations where people will tell me, I don't want to do business. No, I'm not interested in business. Let me just do my job. At the end of the month, I get paid. I don't care how the owner of the business is going to do it, but I know that once it is on the 30th or 31st or even 28th or 1st, my salary is in my bank account. I receive my alert and I'm cool. I move on with my life. I got nothing to worry about. How many of you have been there? Like, how many of you have had friends or colleagues or family members who would say they are not interested in businesses, that they just want to get a job? They just want to do that job and move on because they are not ready for the ups and downs. They are not ready for the irregularities. They are not ready for the heart issues that comes with it, that comes with being an entrepreneur, that comes with creating solutions to problems and then seeing to it that that solution is not thriving, that solution is not really leaving the ground floor. Then you are in constant roller coaster of, where do I position from here? Where do I really take it up from here? Do you see that? Thank you, Jemima. Proverbs 4:23. If we guard your heart diligently, for out of it are the issues of life. So they are not willing and ready to face it. Even for you to read a book, it requires a heart posture. And that's why reading for execution blueprint, I try as much as possible to prepare your heart to be ready to read. If you have gone through reading for execution blueprint, you understand that it is something that connects to a lot of clarity, inspection. I go deep into this with you on a personal level, such that you are able to come up with what is really required for you per time and season. And of course, when you see the gravity of the weight that is upon your shoulders, you would want to take that up. All right, you would want to take that up. So in businesses, people are not willing to take up the challenges because it's a hard business. Favor, how you doing? Welcome. In fact, while I was preparing this class, I'm like, I think I should have a boot camp where we're just going to discuss on the heart matters. All right? It's just going to be about the heart. How many of you will be interested about that? Right? We're just going to be discussing heart, heart, heart. Really go deep into this heart thing. Right? I have a book here. It's a beautiful book, though it is written from um, the Biblical Perspective by Juanita Bino. Oh, it's in the room. It's in my library in the room. All right, it's in the library in the room. So the title of the book is Matters of the Heart. Yes, I used to organize programs in those days called Matters of the Heart, even before I saw that book. Yes. So when I saw the book, it was a coincidence. So I just felt like we need to have a boot camp where we're just going to be discussing the heart. How many of you be interested in such boot camp? Just the heart matters. We're not going to discuss nothing else. We'll just be there maybe for 10 days. We're just discussing the heart. And it's going to be so lovely. So heart has a lot to do with how far we are able to, you know, ride on the waves of the roller coasters that comes with the daily happiness of life. Okay? We'll talk about depression today, anxiety disorders. We'll talk about these different situations, psychological issues, emotional challenges that people go through. You realize that the reason people go through those things is because they step into situations, they step into an environment where they were not prepared at heart, where they were not prepared to handle the challenges. All right, where they were not prepared to handle the challenges. So both at heart, becoming your courageous self, it's a transformative journey. All right, it's a transformative journey that requires a lot of vulnerabilities, facing of fears, adaptability, resilience, just name them. All right, audaciousness. It requires a lot of these different compartments for you to say that I am a courageous person. Okay, for you to say that I'm a courageous person. The reason courage is necessary is because it is required for us to take action. Courage is taking action, irrespective whether you are afraid, whether situations are not palatable, whether it is not working, the system is not working, economic crisis, whatever it is. Courage is your ability to take action. All right. So when we say bold at heart, we're saying that action begins from the heart. Your thought most often decides your reality. The way and manner at which you think, your consciousness decides your physical expressions. So if your consciousness is that of the victim mindset or victimization, fear, sabotages, low motivation, lack of self-esteem, indiscipline, procrastination, is all of these things, you cannot take steps. So many a times when people come into my space for my coaching program and they're not taking actionable steps in the right direction, as it has to do with their personality, as it has to do with where they are headed in life, as it has to do with who they are becoming. All right, as it has to do with who they are becoming, the first thing we have to diagnose is to be able to look deep within and be like, okay, what are some of the sabotages that are holding this person back? What are the psychological or emotional challenges, okay, or challenges that are holding this person back, that are holding this person in the same cocoon or in the same space for a long time? All right, I was in a class yesterday and somebody was like, I've bought several courses. I've bought several courses. I have gone through them, but nothing is happening in my life. Nothing is happening. The person is not bodacious. The person is not is the person's spirit is low, is not strengthened. All right, there's no power from the inner man to help him or her take action. So the problem are not the courses that they bought that are not working. All right, they are not that is not the problem. The problem is your ability to take action, your ability to execute, implement, and take your transformation to the next level. So that's why in this community, we're really zoning in as we're entering into the new phase of our impact. We're zoning into intentional reading on a deeper level, implementation or execution, growth, and impact. Many of you are going to be taking your reading beyond just the level of reading to the place where you really become dogged and intentional about your impact. All right, begin to create structures and systems, no matter how little they are, and you are able to take those steps. I was going through Facebook few hours ago, and I came across a lady. Okay, I came across this lady that we were together many years. I think that was in 2020, 2021. She was so big on this thing, doing it back to back. And there was even a time I had to invite her for one of my program. She was in that program. She taught so well and all of that. So I just realized that she was no longer there. All right, she's no longer doing what she used to do. She has left of the heart. It all boils down to the heart. That heart matters, right? So if you are struggling to take action, my friend, you're struggling to read that book, you're struggling to execute on the ideas you're interacting with, you're struggling to carry on that NGO project, that business venture, you're struggling to start out. Your problem is not the project, the problem is not whatever it is you're interacting with, your problem is you. Okay, it is from the inside heart, from the inside out. So if you are not courageous from within, there is no way you can even take action. I've really been able to break down what this heart thing looks like and what it truly means. I'm able to break that down. So at the end of the day, you will not be able to take action. You will not be able to do the needful. You will not be able to take steps in the right direction. So it's just going to be a problem. Okay. So to be bold at heart is simply to possess courage, to be confident, to have a determined spirit. I'd like you to write that in the comment. To have what? A determined spirit. Okay, suppose say determine. A determined spirit. To be courageous, to be confident. That's what it means to what? To be bold at heart. Okay? When you say somebody is bold at heart, we're saying that this person is fearless. They are willing to take risk and face challenges head on. They are willing to do this. They are confident. They trust themselves and their ability to do the work. They have self-efficacy. How many of you were in the last two sessions we had on our BMM? They have self-efficacy. They are willing to take steps. They are resolute, right? They are resolute. They can decide on a situation. They have the ability to make decisions. Okay, they are adventurous. Are you writing these things down? They are adventurous. Somebody that is bold at heart is adventurous. They are open to new experiences. They are willing to step out of the comfort zone. They are authentic, unapologetically themselves. They don't pretend. All right, that is boldness. They are bold at heart. We're not talking about physicality. We're not talking about physical arrogance now. We're talking about the heart posture. Remember, the heart conditioning, the positioning of the heart. You know, in branding, we talk about positioning, right? So this time around, talking about the positioning of your heart, not necessarily where it is standing now, but in terms of the psychological makeup, the spiritual makeup, the emotional makeup, the mental makeup, and all of that. So How is it positioned? All right. Someone who is bold at heart is passionate, is driven by their convictions and their values. My goodness. By their convictions and their values, they are driven, they are self-driven. So if you look at yourself and you have not been self-driven, you are easily discouraged, you throw in the towel all the time, then you have to look at your heart. You have to look at your system. What is wrong? All right. Maybe you need to get a coach. If you already have a coach, maybe you need to speak to your coach. You need to speak to a leader that you believe in, a mentor. Many a times, people start off on a project and along the line they give up because there is no support system. No support system to hold them by their hands, to hold them to be accountable to do the work. Nothing like that. All right. No support system. There has to be that support structure so that you don't fall to the ground. All right. So that you are able to continue to do the work. So they are unapologetically themselves without pretense. They don't know how to pretend. They are driven by their convictions and values. They are passionate. They are able to bounce back from setbacks and failures. They are able to bounce back from setbacks and failures. Do you see that? So when there is a challenge, they are resilient. All right. In Finland, they call it sisu. They call it what? Sisu. 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 S-I-S-U. Sisu. I love that word so much. All right. Sisu. All right. So they are resilient. They are able to bounce back from setbacks and failures. All right. I said that when I have a girl child, I'm going to name my child Sisu. Sisu. But there is another addition. I will not tell you that one. The God factor. So resilience. They are able to bounce back from setbacks and failures. So whenever you are having challenges, you are having one or two, just tell yourself, Sisu, my friend. Faith, you have to Sisu. Faith, you have to Sisu. You have to move on. People be like, what's wrong with which one is Sisu? Yeah, you're just speaking to your heart that it is time to be resilient. It is not time to throw in the towel. It's not time to sleep. Okay, so being bold at heart is about embracing the mindset of authenticity, embracing authenticity. We live in a VUCA world. That's the description. If you've read the book Simple Habits in Complex Time, I first saw that acronym from that book, VUCA: volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. We live in a VUCA world today. People are easily giving up so much because of the need for instant gratification. It has been amplified by social media. So for that reason, people are not willing to take steps. People are not willing to go dogged and rugged. Okay? Are you able to stand up for what you believe? You carry a mandate, you carry a vision, all right? That's been brooding in your heart. You've been incubating this vision for the longest of time, for decades, for years now, all right, for months now. Are you able to stand up for it, to say, this is my vision? I'm standing up for it irrespective. I'm standing up for it irrespective. Nothing is going to stop me. I will not be derailed. I will not be carried away. Are you able to pursue your passion with purpose? Friends, are you able? My Ordinachi, I see Mr. Martin. Are you able to pursue your passions with intention, with purpose? Are you able to pursue it? When you're able to do that, that is boldness at heart. Are you able to read with purpose, with intentionality, and you believe in the process, irrespective, and you are willing to take steps, you're willing to take actionable steps and initiative to ensure that you execute, to ensure that you carry out the task, to ensure that you do the work? Are you able to do all of that? Are you able to stand up for what you believe in? Are you able to embrace authenticity? Are you able to speak truth to power? This is what I believe and I stand by it. This is my faith and I stand by it. These are my value system and I stand by it. All right. So like I said already, courage means taking action despite all of these disadvantages, despite the sabotages that have been lurking in your system. All right. Are you able to take steps despite fear, despite uncertainty? All right. Are you able to take steps? I want you to reflect on a moment. when you acted courageously? Just look at your life right now on those score. When was that moment? I'm going to give you 10 seconds to reflect on that moment when you acted courageously. I'd like you to share in the comments, maybe with a word or a sentence. What was that moment you acted courageously? Me, I would say when I was going to pivot into the personal development axis, I haven't taught reading for the longest of time. I was so scared. I was so scared. How am I going to say this? How am I going to talk to people about this? Like, it was a new terrain. I'd gone on to study something that has to do with chemistry in the institution of learning. So people will believe me to be in the laboratory, carrying out all the analysis, the propane, the benzene, all the analytical, whatever. But then I was now pivoting into an arena where I needed to build capacity. So I was really scared. I was terrified. Even though I'd read a lot of books, it wasn't going to cut through. All right. So that was a moment of courage for me. Another one was when I was to make the decision to be married to somebody that only God knew. Only God knew his heart. If he was going to handle me as a queen, as a princess, all right, as a daughter of Zion that I am. It was a courageous moment. What was that moment for you? Possibly it was when you were going to step into a new business, right? You're going to put all your add-in savings for the past years. We're going to enter into that arena without even know how it's going to be. Maybe people that have gone ahead of you have told you, yeah, it's possible, you can make it. You're just like, I only have this money. I've saved it for the years. Should I continue? I'm not talking about MMM, a money making machine. No, not that type of venture. I'm talking about real business that is laced with purpose, right? Sometimes the reason we don't step into the unfamiliar is because we are comfortable. We have not been able to build the level of courage that is necessary for us to pivot. Oh, Mom Ellen, welcome to class. See Mercy. Mercy, how you doing? Welcome to class. So we've not been able to make the decision to say this is what the area I think I can really pivot into. Irrespective, I don't know what the next 1 year holds. I don't know what the next 10 year holds, but I'm willing and ready to do the work. I'm willing and ready to step into that environment. So what was that moment for you when you acted courageously? Maybe for you was to jackpot. People are jackpotting, right? Maybe it was to jackpot when you jackpot out of your country to another country. All right. Or maybe it was relocation to a new apartment, to a new environment. So what was that for you? What was that moment you acted courageously? So if you have done it before, you can do it again. Let's look at the story of King David. David was a young man at the backside of the desert, just taking care of his father's flocks. He was able to kill a bear and a lion. And there came a time for him to kill the Goliath. All right. And he could really step courageously because there was an anchor. All right. There was an anchor for him. Do you see that what I am telling you right now to do may not be reasonable right now, but I'm telling you to come up with an anchor. All right. When a ship wants to get to I don't know when they want to, there's what they call anchor. I think when they want to, I've forgotten the word they use there, but more like a car that want to park. So the ship, they call it anchor. So it has to anchor to something, right? So there has to be an anchor for every man. There has to be an anchor for every man. That with that, you are able to take the next step, the next step, the next step. So when you look at your life in retrospect and you're like, oh my God, if I could do that, I can do this time around. So that level of reflection is necessary for you to continue to build upon previous things. That's why self-efficacy is not something you actualize in a day. As a major element of courage and confidence building, it is something that builds upon itself. That's why if you refuse to take action today, you procrastinate, you give excuses, tomorrow you will have nothing to anchor on. But when an opportunity is presented to you today and you're able to take that necessary step today, by tomorrow when you are taking the next step, you will have something to anchor on. Do you get the gist? You would have something to anchor on tomorrow because you did it today. All right, because you did it today. If you have never prepared a goosey soup before, or afan soup or koberry, those of you in Cameroon. Okay, if you've never prepared any of this soup or delicacy before, the day you'll be told to prepare it, you're going to freak out. You're going to be like, how do I even start? All right. I can remember when I first went to the city of Calabar, or I was staying with someone there, an uncle there. I'll be asked to prepare afan soup. How many of you know afan soup? Edika kong and all the vegetables slap on top of water leaf delicacies that they have. And I remember going on YouTube. I remember going on YouTube in those days, watching videos, right? Watching those videos to see how I can prepare. In fact, uncle was even the house, he gave me money. I was like, "Hope you can prepare afan soup. Don't prepare nonsense." I said, "Yeah, I can prepare it." I didn't want to, as a young girl, when you say you don't know how to cook it, they will say, "What's wrong with you? Are you okay?" So I told myself YouTube was going to be my salvation in this situation. So I went on YouTube, watched a couple of videos, and I was thinking I was ready. But when I got to the market to buy the ingredients, the recipes, and everything that I needed, I was still not bold enough to take on that job and to take on that work. And then I needed to go buy from someone. Yeah, the network has been fluctuating for some days now. It's been so much glitches here and there. Sorry about that. But I hope you guys can still hear me. If you can hear me, let me know. Can you also see me? Because I know sometimes when the network is poor like this, you can hardly see a person. If you can see me clearly, type see you. If you can hear me clearly, type hear you. So, like I was sharing my story, friends, that getting to the market and wanting to wanting to buy those things, I had to look for a very advanced woman. That was wisdom. Okay, you can see me. Thank you. I had to look for a very advanced woman in the market. I stood in one place and I was targeting. I saw this old woman who was selling this. Oh, it's not clear. You are not seeing my beautiful face very well. The network is something else. Man, it's not clear. I can see it on my laptop now. That's not my real face. That's not my real face. So it's blurry. It's the network palava. Oh, you can see me clearly. Okay, let's hope for the best. Okay, so I had to target this older woman in the market. So I met with her and I was like, Mama, it's my first time. I want to prepare afan soup. Where should I begin from? And then she told me everything I needed to do, forgetting that I'd gone on to um to YouTube, but it wasn't cutting it because there was nothing to anchor on. Okay, Ma'am Ellie says she was courageous enough. Okay, knee replacement surgery in India. Wow. You tell me about that gist, Ma'am Ellie. Our secret gist. Okay, so you see that at the end of the day, I got to the market and I spoke with this older woman. She told me what I needed to do, and I just added the wisdom I got from YouTube, did everything, and it was excellent. Okay, and then my uncle was like, "Oh, you've been preparing this thing for a long time, and you didn't tell me." My goodness! And even when the wife came back, they still wanted me to keep preparing it because they felt I was good. But what did I do? I anchored my faith on that old woman in the market that I bought the vegetables from, you know, coupled with the knowledge I also gathered from the online platform. There was no book then on how to prepare for soup. I don't know if there's a book now. Maybe I would have gotten a book. All right, just imagine that kind of a thing. You will finish that book in 1 hour because you are looking for what you need. So at the end of the day, you just realize that when it comes to that level of result, you must anchor your faith. You must anchor on what you have done before. Do you understand? You must anchor on what you have done before. Otherwise, you will not be able to have that boldness to do. So the reason we encourage that, if you are starting, start now. Now that's why perfectionists, they have a lot of problems. People that are perfectionists, oh my goodness, They hardly grow. They are perfectionists here. I'm not hitting at you, but I'm just telling you what it is. All right, there's this thing that is a problem to them. It's called analysis paralysis. It's a huge problem to them because they're perfect, they want to be perfect, they want to have everything all set before they start. So the process it is taking a non-perfectionist to practice, prototype, get feedback, execute, and they are getting better, they are becoming more refined. The perfectionist is trying to figure it out in private. He's trying to analyze, and as a result, they're becoming paralyzed in the process. Because when the waters are stirred, if you don't take action, a time will come you give up. Do you understand? When the waters are stirred, like there is an inkling, there is a leading right now for you to do a particular thing. If you have ever been in the shoe, you understand what I'm saying. Like there is a leading right now for you to do a particular thing, like you've never done it before. All right, but there is that leading. Instead of you to take action, you keep procrastinating. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Before you know it, it will die off. Because life does not afford vacuum. Other things will occupy the mind. Other things will replace that urgency. And before you know it, you now begin to excuse yourself. You now be like, it's not all that. It doesn't really matter. I mustn't do it. I must not even do it that way. You start giving excuses because the waters have been, when the waters was stirred, you didn't take action. Now the energy is no longer there, the momentum is no longer there. So it's difficult now for you to take action. You see. So it is a disadvantage for a lot of perfectionists. And if you're a perfectionist here, you may now begin to rewire your mindset to ensure that you are able to take initiative, irrespective of the profession. There's nothing like perfection, it's an illusion. There's nothing like I want to be perfect. It's an illusion. It is sabotage. All right. I know that there's a certain level of excellence you can bring to a project that you can bring into your life and people will appreciate it. But you understand what I'm talking about when I talk about analysis paralysis, like this sort of overanalyzation. At the end of the day, you don't get to do the things that you're supposed to do. All right. So courage can manifest itself in different formats, but I want you to know that sabotages can also manifest themselves in those formats: physical, all right, psychological, emotional, mental. In all of these different ways, they can manifest themselves. So if I may ask you right now, what type of courage do you find most challenging? Is it taking physical action? Is it emotional action? Is it psychological action? Now, there are times people enjoy these feelings, these emotional feelings of negativity. They enjoy it a lot. Something happens in their life, they refuse to come out of it. They refuse to receive healing. They refuse to receive deliverance. Even when those things are glaring, they are before them. They refuse to receive those things. They just keep romancing the emotion. Oh, he did this to me. Oh, he did that to me. Oh, I'm not going to do this anymore. They keep romancing that emotion. All right. And at the end of the day, they don't move past it. And you will need to break out. All right. You will need to break out by looking at some of the key things I said before. Remember, I said somebody who is bold at heart must be fearless, must be confident, must be resolute, be able to make proud decisions, must be adventurous, must be authentic, unapologetically themselves without pretense. You don't have to pretend to be who you are not. They must be passionate. Your passion must be about the fact that you are driven by your convictions and your values. So if you don't know what your values are, it's even a problem in the first place. All right. Usually, when I want to explain values, I talk about the self-growth values and the service values, right? The self-growth values are values that are just for you and you alone. Okay, like today I spoke about integrity. Integrity is such a great value system that if we can uphold it, it's going to take us from here to there. If you have not watched that video, you can check this YouTube channel where I spoke about integrity. I just posted the video about 3 hours ago, 4 hours ago, right? There's also the aspect that has to do with service value, where you are not the one giving out, right? It is overflowing from the inside and you're giving out, all right? I also said you have to be what? Resilient. To be bold at heart means that you're taking ownership of your life. You're standing up for what you believe, irrespective. Your passion is laced with purpose. Do you see that? It is laced with purpose. So now, while trying to navigate the terrain of courage, go to do the work, you have to begin to identify your fears. All right? If I may ask right now, what are your fears? What are your fears? Yes, Jemima, there is nothing like perfectionism. It's an illusion because at the end of the day, you will never become perfect. Paul, in all his wisdom, at the end of the day, he said, we know in part, prophesy in part, everything we do in part. Till the perfect comes, it's only God that is the perfect one. All right, it's only Christ that is the perfect one. Every other thing, we are all experimenting. We're in the realm of experimentation. That's why we keep growing. That's why we are constantly growing. All right, on planet Earth, you just realize that everything grows. Everything that has life must grow, must advance, must get better on a daily basis. So there's this fear of failure, rejection, and the unknown. They can hinder you, all right, from taking steps. They can hinder you from taking steps. So, what are your fears? You have to begin to identify them. Remember, there's a teaching I did some time ago that you have to be able to call your fears by name, call those emotions by name. All right, if you can name them, you can tame them. Name, tame, name, tame, name, tame. Oh my goodness. Yeah, if you can name them, you can as well tame them. So, what are your challenges, if I may ask, friends? What are your fears? The fear of the unknown, the fear of I don't know how tomorrow is going to be, the fear of failure, what if I fail, the fear of rejection, or what if I am rejected, what if I'm not validated. What are some of your biggest fears, friends? It is time to do it afraid. It is time to do it scared. What's going to happen? Maybe you fail, you try again, then you have just learned a way not to do it. One of the men I admire so much is Thomas Edison. That man knows how to fail. Eventually came up with what we can refer to as electricity today. You see, the reason you can see me this night because of Thomas Edison. Because of Thomas Edison. You know what electricity has done for us in the world? There wouldn't have been anything like Facebook. How will you power your device? Whether we're doing solar today or whatever, they all came from there. In fact, these are just inventions. They are no longer invention, they are innovation. We're just coming up with newness, creativity, better ways to make it better ways to present it, right? So your biggest fears are not really they're just there to keep you. Once you can do it scared, you can do it afraid, you can take that bold steps, all right, you are going to see yourself grow. So I like you to reflect on your fears today. That's why journaling is beautiful. I am always journaling. I've not done my journaling for today. So before I go to bed, I must journal. So journaling will allow you to express your feelings, your fears, those things that are holding you back. You express them willingly. Nobody is there to judge you, right? It's just you. So you have to be able to journal. When was the last time fear stopped you from doing something important? I'd like you to journal that this evening. If you have a journal, you can also use your notepad on your device. When was the last time fear stopped you from doing the work? And you're like, and the funniest thing about these sabotages is that sometimes you don't even know they are there, and they're just keeping you. So before you know it, you're excusing yourself from doing the work. Before you know it, you are excusing yourself from stepping into that horizon. You're just taking steps backward, like, because you're not sure of what the next step will be like. You're not. But the truth is, one thing I have noticed over the years is that once you take that first step, the next step is waiting for you. The first step is usually the hardest step. The first step is usually the hardest and toughest step. So that's why personal reflection is important. The more you reflect through journaling, reading, meditation, and all of these different engineering process of the mind, the more you do them, the more some of these things come up higher in the realm of your consciousness. And as they come up higher in the realm of your consciousness, you now begin to be like, oh my God, I never knew for once that this could be a problem for me, that this could be a sabotage, this could be a factor that have limited me for a long time. That have limited me for a long time. So when was the last time fear stopped you from doing the work? When was the last time? Fear have stopped a lot of people. We've had people who will never get married at a certain age they're supposed to get married. Why? Because they are afraid of the unknown. They're afraid of the unknown. They have a lot of people coming their way, whether they are male or female, but they're just afraid of the unknown. So with that, they don't take steps. They don't do the needful. We have also seen people who would have very wonderful and amazing people come their way at an early stage of their life, but because they are afraid, there's this fear sabotage holding them back. They refuse to take steps. There's a psychological word for that, for the marriage space. I've forgotten what it is. They refuse to take steps. They refuse to take steps. So by the time they are now older, anyone that comes, they now begin to say, if anyone just come, we'll just take it like that. Why? Because they were afraid to take steps. It is the same thing. So the time you're supposed to prepare yourself, and that is why in the place of productivity, as you go up higher, your time allocation is being reduced. Yes, the amount of time you have to invest into that project is being reduced. All right. When I newly started off reading, putting all the energy, the number of books I was reading, I can no longer dare to read those books now. That I go rugged, like I'm reading one book a day, I cannot do that again now. I do not have that time. All right. The higher I go, it is reducing. It is reducing. I'm currently doing 8 to 10 books in a month. For the time they come, I will not be able to do that. It may just be me doing 4 books. All right. Except if I decide to use other strategies, maybe the strategies I've also taught some of you in the community. Maybe I just scheme, I become a queen of scheming, and a lot of other different strategies I can do. But when we talk about reading, really going deeper, looking into the information, deconstructing the different compartments, introspecting, getting all the values, I may not be able to run at that speed. So that's how it is. Because fears have stopped a lot of people from taking steps. That period of time that God allocated to you, you would have used to implement, to experiment. You did not use it. Just imagine if Thomas Edison, when he was allocated the time, able to experiment, do more than 1,000 experiments, present it as prototypes. All right, present them as prototype, and they never made any sense until he finally got the recipe, the exact recipe. Some people said they did it for 10,000 times. I don't know how true that is. Some research says 1,000 times. But just imagine 1,000 times. Like somebody carrying out an experiment for 1,000 good times. Will you do it? Will you be able to sit down and read 1,000 books and say, in this space that I am in the business world, personal development, whatever space, whatever level of knowledge you want to be, say, I'm reading 1,000 books. Let me see what will happen when I'm done reading those books. All right, when I've done reading those books. Somebody, I first heard somebody like um, one of the fathers in the world of personal transformation. Um, what's his name again? Okay, maybe when I keep talking, you will remember him. Okay, so he said one time that he read over 3,000 books. He read over 3,000 books. The man that wrote Awaken the Giant Within, Awaken the Giant Within, Tony Robbins, that's his name. Tony Robbins. Sometimes when I call the book titles, I remember their names. All right, Tony Robbins. He said he read over 3,000 books. First time I heard it, I was like, come on, what's that? Like, for me to read those number of books, I'm going to carry out a lot of intertextuality, because he said he started to compare ideas in these different books. I just discovered that a lot of them in a particular area were the same. So they were able to come up with patterns from all of these books. So are you willing to sit down and say, I must do this thing no matter what happens? Yours may not be books, maybe your business. You're like, I must get solution to this challenge. I must become this person. That was what Thomas Edison did. For 1,000 times, carrying out one experiment again and again and again, people would have termed him a madman. A madman. All right? People would have termed him a madman. I read the story of Jeremiah Edison. He was a man that was very intelligent. He was very intelligent. But his father told him, why don't you go and do something else with your life? You keep talking to the same set of people and they will never listen. They will never listen. Even our Father God, sent different people, different prophets through different dispensations to come and talk to us. Then it was the children of Israel to go talk to them until finally, he had to send Jesus, the climax of it all. And the word of God says in the book of Proverbs that the the highest expression of God's wisdom is Jesus Christ. In the book of Proverbs, and it's also reflected in the New Testament, that the highest expression, I think in the book of Hebrew, when he was talking about the testament and the testator, Hebrews, yeah, from the book of Hebrews. So the highest expression of God's wisdom was Jesus. Yeah, before then, a lot of prophets were available due to the dispensation and the timing, because it wasn't the problem of God, it was our own problem as humans, because we needed to evolve. We are the ones that are growing. God is not growing. It's the ancient of days. It remains the same forever and ever. So because of our fickleness, our frameness, we needed to grow into it. So it took time, it took thousands of years for us to be able to migrate from a certain level to another level, and it keeps sending different prophets, different people per time to come speak with us, to come talk to us, to come expand what the heaven looks like, what the agenda of the kingdom looks like. And we're not getting it until God had to set Jesus as the real model, the physical expression of the wisdom of God. The Bible says, as we continue to look into that image, we are being translated to Him, just like Him, looking unto Him, the author, the finisher of our faith. So, whatever that looks like for you, I don't know, but I want you to understand, all right, that when it comes to taking steps, it is important that we begin to do this thing continuously so that we are able to re-engineer our system. It may not make sense the first time, the second time, the third time, fourth, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 100. And somebody will just look at you and say, this person is a confused human being. No problem, let me be confused with purpose. I know I'm confused, but I will soon get it. I've not gotten to number 200. I'm not there yet. Yeah, I'm not there yet. Let me keep getting confused. Somebody like Thomas Edison, I believe he was inside his lab, inside his laboratory. Then there was no social media. People would have termed him the confused researcher, the confused inventor. But he kept on trying. For every new level, he would always anchor his faith on the previous experience. He would always anchor his faith on the previous encounter. He would always anchor his faith on the previous prototype. And then he kept on trying. He kept on trying until he was able to make it. Whether it was 1,000 times so, but how many experiments have you done in that area of life? We are not willing to experiment anymore. We're not willing. Because how many of you, okay, for those of us that were in the Smart Readers Academy, we read this book, Shifting Atmosphere. I think that was last year, early last year or so. We read Shifting Atmosphere. Was it any last year or 2022? I can't really remember, but we read Shifting Atmosphere. This time is so fast. Sometimes I get confused. We read Shifting Atmosphere. All right. As we read Shifting Atmosphere, and then there was something the woman shared that was so fascinating for a spiritual person. And then she said that there has to be this level of experimentation that you bring on board as a believer. So God might be speaking to your heart about a particular thing, and He's saying, go and take steps in that direction. And you are like, am I sure? So instead of you to be asking the question of am I sure, take steps. So the more you do it, the better you are able to hear the voice of God next time. The better you're able to address that situation next time. All right? The better you are able to address that situation next time. The better you're able to do it next time. So it's the same thing that's applicable in all areas of life. So when you do it today, it gets better. That is courage. All right? Becoming bold at heart. All right? That is what it means to become a courageous person. That you are doing it all the way. But the challenge most times is that people are not ready to be courageous, to take steps again and again, because they don't even have the foundation. The foundation is your purpose. The foundation is your vision. The foundation is the clarity you have about who you are and whose you are. If you don't have that foundation, it's going to be difficult. So you can go read the book by Brené Brown, The Gift of Imperfection. We'll talk to you so much about courage, about vulnerability, about a whole lot. You can read The Gift of Imperfection. Such a profound book. Such a profound book. The first time my stepdad saw that, I was reading that. In fact, I shared the book, and he was like, Faith, where did you see this book? Such a beautiful book. Yeah. The Gift of Imperfection by Brené Brown. All right. There's also the Courage Habit. It's also a great book as well. All right. The Courage Habit. There's also there are a lot of other books. Maybe I will recommend them while we meet in the BMM. Right. I cannot really remember their authors now. The BMN recommended. Okay, so there is this. The reason I'm recommending a book on vulnerability is so that you can take it up seriously. All right, embracing vulnerability. There's so much power. The vulnerability is strength. All right, we're not saying you have to put your life out there, overly out there. Being vulnerable to yourself is a lot of work. A lot of people are not vulnerable to themselves. They cannot tell themselves the truth. That is vulnerability. Your ability to tell yourself the truth is vulnerability. Okay? So embracing vulnerability is a great strength. It's a great strength. As I'm seated here, I'm thinking possibly we should read the book by Brené Brown for Book Motivation Monday, the upcoming one. It's a short book, not too long. It's a short book. All right? Brené Brown. Embracing vulnerability. She's a shame researcher. She has done a lot of vulnerability. I remember in those days as a relationship coach, I used to teach on vulnerability in leadership and in relationship. So my partner used to teach on vulnerability in leadership. so so how does it feel like for you when you tell somebody about a certain aspect of you that is not too beautiful, or when you share it with the world? How does it feel like for you? It's not always okay, it's not always sweet. But start by telling yourself the truth. All right? Start by telling yourself the truth. There's such a thing as a white lie. When you tell yourself the lies that you know is supposed to be the other way around, right? It's not supposed to be so. So start by being vulnerable, showing yourself some element of vulnerability. Become compassionate and accountable to yourself. Start from there. Okay? And then I also said that, like I said from the beginning, that this is a transformative journey that involves, letting go of fears, embracing vulnerability, developing resilience, adaptability, and all of that. So we're going to stop at the third one, which is developing resilience. Okay, what is resilience? Okay, what is resilience? It's really about bouncing back from setback. All right, resilience allows you to be able to bounce back from setback. Okay, so that irrespective of what happens, you are able to get yourself together. You are able to what? Get yourself together, and it works. You can develop resilience by building a growth mindset, practicing self-compassion, having a mentor, a coach that you look out for or you look onto as your alter ego, your model, and also maintaining a support network, connection, support network. Nobody can do it alone. We all, if we decide to start living in isolation, we will not succeed one bit. We will not succeed. Philophobia. Okay, the fear of relationship. Yeah, I love it. Thank you, Ma'am Odinachi, for sharing that. Philophobia. Now, when I was talking about relationship, like people are not ready to step into extraordinary relationship, whether it's for marriage, business, or what have you. So philophobia, the fear of relationship. Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you. So, what strategies have you used to build resilience before now? It is time for you to look at your life and begin to ask yourself, have I been resilient enough? Have I been, just out there? My emotions are scattered all the time. I'm just there, muchi muchi, feeling muchi muchi all the time, getting mad at everyone that comes around. All right, feeling so angered to the level that you go to bed that way and you wake up, your face is looking somehow. So it is time for us to wake up. It is time for us to become bold at heart. Like I said already, if you listen to this class to the end, just type heart in the comment. Like I said, hopefully one of these days we're going to have a boot camp where we just talk about matters of the heart. Yes, we just look at the different parts. We scatter the heart, we scatter it back, left and center, and then we mix it, we bring it back together again. We remove all those things that are hiding in the crevices of your system that have been locking around, just keeping you in one spot. We pull them out, we raise them, we take erasers, we take different things. Some of them we need to cut them out. Once we do that, right? Once we do that, we'll now begin to have a new heart. All right? How many of us know this song? A heart like yours is my desire, full of compassion, nothing wrong with it, oh God. Help me, oh God, give me a heart like yours. How many of you want that kind of a heart? A heart that is bold, because you are light, you are magnificent, you are a masterpiece, right? That sort of heart that is not afraid, okay? When they see you coming, they're going to be like, oh my God, that's the real deal. That's the true masterpiece of the Father, right? You're not afraid. If they cannot see you in comfort, they should wear sunglasses to see you because your light is shining so bright. Okay, your light is shining so bright. Becoming your courageous self is important. Remember, I said when you have a solid heart, emotionally, spiritually, physically, mentally, your heart is stabilized, it's stable. You will be able to take steps. And the more you take steps, the more you are able to anchor your faith, the more you are able to anchor yourself based on previous experiences, previous wins. You're able to anchor them. There are times I enter into an environment, all right, they are saying certain things about me. They are saying certain things to my face. Oh, Faith, why have you not done this? Oh, Faith, why have you not accomplished that? I'm just smiling because there's a certain heart posture that I carry. I don't allow certain things to penetrate me. It doesn't work. It's like bulletproof. Not these bulletproof cars. Yeah, that's how the heart is supposed to be. When it comes like this, bam, it will bounce back. It will bounce back. Some of your heart is so soft. When it comes, it just penetrates. Like it's like foam. It will just penetrate and enter inside and go and hide somewhere and be worrying your life. It is time for you to build capacity, become your courageous self, start taking steps as little as you can. Right now, start taking steps as little as you can. All right? Start taking steps as little as you can. The more you take steps, the better you become. If it is in the area of reading, start reading. Become so angry that you want a transformation. Yeah, you want a better life. You want to have a better experience. You want to get better. You want your life to experience something so unique, something so beautiful. That is what it means to be bodacious. All right. It's been an amazing conversation, friends. I want to go on, but I value your time so much. This is supposed to be a 1 hour conversation. If we're going to stretch it beyond that, we'll also talk about it. We'll have to take that permission. So thank you for showing up in class today. This is our weekly Friday show, and it's been fun. Yeah, we're preparing a lot of beautiful things. I see most of you that are here. Thank you for showing up, everyone. And some of you came. Network was also a challenge. I hope that you can go back and listen to the replays of all that we've done. Please and please, I want to encourage you. Always share our videos, like, subscribe, so that people can keep connecting. There are a lot of people that want to hear my voice, that want to hear my voice. There are some people that want to read your comments. Of course, when people are reading or listening after now, they will still see your comments. Facebook, YouTube has made it so they will see your comment through the chat, but as they are listening, it's coming up. So people can see your comments and they can learn from there. They can listen to me and they can learn from there. So keep sharing, keep inviting your friends. We've got loads of amazing goodies in the community. This is the first time stopping by. Thank you so much for joining us on a session like this. It's always an amazing time coming together to chat, to talk about things that can take us from here to the next level. I know that you've learned a lot. So from this conversation, next time you're having some kind of heart challenges, you should remember this class, or possibly come back here and just listen to all that we shared today. So there are links in the comment. You can go ahead and go through. We have the Telegram community. You can join us. There's also the program I'm currently running, the Video for Execution Blueprints. That's been so amazing. It's a one-on-one tiny challenge that I get to work with you directly to diagnose your issues and then really provide solutions that will be so important to your life, right? Important and expedient, necessary for you to move to the next level. So if you're interested, you can apply. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for showing up. So I'm going to see you guys next week. We also have a reading challenge coming up, hopefully between 5th and 8th. We're going to start sharing the flyer. Before now, we're supposed to have started, but a lot is happening from the back end. We're trying to put the landing pages together and all of that. So there's been delays. So between 5th and 8th, the flyers will be up. Please be a crusader in the community. Once you see it, share to your network, share to your friends so that they too can be blessed. All right? Thanks for your time. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Love you. Yeah.